I work for data centers as pest control. Tucker, the life of a rat hunter. A static ground data center side series, Tucker, the life of a rat hunter. Note, Tucker carries this whole series of 5 videos. Tucker is a hard man to get on the phone. He calls when he wants and expects to get right to the work. A man giving testimony, not telling stories. Tucker, the life of a rat hunter. Nobody ever hired me twice under the same company name. I want to say that up front, because it matters more than anything else I'm about to tell you. Check clears, though. Always has. Comes out of a different account every time, different name on the letterhead, different area code on the contact line, same routing number underneath if you go digging, which I did exactly once and then stopped because a man who calls that number back gets a very polite voice telling him it's been disconnected, and a man who calls it twice gets a visit instead of a callback. And the men that come out will give me the chills. I've been doing this 11 years. Worked maybe 30 sites in that time, spread over more states than I've got fingers, and every one of them had the same shape to the paperwork. A pest control contract with a scope of work so vague it might as well have been blank, and buried in the fine print, one line that never changed no matter what state I was standing in. Contractor is not required, and is expressly discouraged, from filing a complete count. Rats don't need a reason to be somewhere. I used to believe that. I've since revised the opinion. One thing that really bothered me, why so many rats? Why do the data centers have such a rat issue? Is it the sound? Location? Some Democrat needs to do a stud. They like to look at silly things anyway. Like gay frogs and things trying to prove old Alex Jones wrong. Something wrong with that one, I tell you, something wrong with most of them. Bet they got rats. Call one. They flew me out to a site I never got a real name for, badge just said a number, for digits, no letters, out past the last exit that still had a gas station on it, in country flat enough you could watch a storm coming for an hour before it arrived. Called me in for a bird problem, which should have been my first sign something was off, because I don't do birds. Told them that on the phone. Man on the other end said the last 2 companies he'd called told him the same thing and hung up on him, and would I please just come look before I said no too. I should have hung up. But Tucker loves money. I got kids I haven't had yet, and I am damn sure I am going to have child support. No women likes old Tucker for too long. Most say I work too much and talk about the bad things in my sleep. You ever see a starling murmuration? Big black cloud of them, folding over on itself in the sky. Thousands of birds moving like one animal. No leader, no plan. Just instinct past bird to bird faster than you'd think a nervous system could carry it. Beautiful thing to watch, normally. Lasts a few minutes at dusk. And then they drop into a treeline somewhere and that's the show. This one had been going 4 days straight when I got there. Not dusk. Not dawn. Round the clock. Day and night, same shape, same patch of sky, directly over an exhaust stack on the northeast corner of a building that didn't have a sign on it. I stood in that parking lot with my neck bent back for 20 minutes just watching them turn, and I never once saw the flock get smaller. No bird ever peeled off to land. No bird ever dropped from exhaustion, and Lord knows a bird can't fly 4 days without eating. Site manager, young guy, badge as blank as mine, told me they'd had 3 vendors already try to disperse them. Propane cannons. Distress calls piped through a speaker. A man with a trained falcon, believe it or not. Birds didn't so much as flinch. Didn't break formation for a single second. Just kept turning over that stack like water going down a drain, except backwards. Like something down that shaft was pulling instead of draining. Something bad. I climbed the service ladder myself because nobody else on that site would go near the stack. And I wanted on record that I am not, by nature, a curious man. Curiosity is how you end up part of the problem you got hired to solve. But I climbed it anyway because the closer I got, the more that exhaust roar sounded wrong. Too even, too regular, a rhythm sitting underneath the mechanical noise the way a bassline sits under a song you're not really listening to. I got my hand on the grate at the top of that stack, and I felt it before I heard it clean. Thump, thump, slow as a man asleep. Same as I'd feel, years later, with my hand on a steel door in a much colder room. A long way from that flat country and those birds. Though I didn't know that yet, standing on that ladder. Didn't have a thing to compare it to. Just had a bad feeling and 30,000 birds overhead that wouldn't come down. And a client who wanted a bird problem solved and no earthly idea what he was actually paying for. I never did disperse that flock. Told the site manager the truth. Close as I could get to it without sounding like a man who belonged in a hospital. that whatever had those birds wasn't hungry, and it wasn't the kind of thing a falcon scares off. Told him to log it unresolved and let somebody upstairs decide if that was a problem they could live with. Check cleared anyway. Always does. That's what matters: God, country, and the almighty dollar. I think about that stack more than I'd like to. Wonder some nights if those birds ever came down, or if they're up there still, turning over that same patch of sky, waiting on something that hasn't finished arriving yet. That was my first call out to one of them data centers. Things started to get strange from here. Things are getting strange, people don't see it because, well, life and cell phones, both of which links right back like spider webs to them damn data centers.